Far beyond the edge of the known galaxy, in a place where stars burned like molten jewels, the alien queen Xerath ruled. Her empire was vast and feared. Countless worlds bowed to her authority, and no army dared challenge her might. Yet, even in her throne room of gleaming towers and glowing walls, whispers of an impossible legend reached her ears. "Your Majesty," one of her advisors said, bowing low. "The humans, there are rumors of them, that they have warriors capable of feats no ordinary species could ever manage." Queen Xerath's eyes narrowed. Her face, smooth and sharp like polished stone, reflected curiosity and a flicker of amusement. "Humans?" she said. Her voice was calm, but every syllable carried power. "I have conquered thousands of species. I have seen creatures that could tear a starship apart with their minds alone. Why should I believe in human warriors? They are stories," another council member said quickly. "Legends passed down in the outer systems. No one has ever seen them directly. They are said to be fearless, clever, and strong beyond belief." Xerath leaned forward in her throne, her gaze piercing the advisor. "Fearless, clever, and strong, huh? Perhaps it is time I see for myself if these humans are more than fairy tales." On a distant planet far from the Empire, humans lived in colonies scattered across desert plains and icy mountains. The colony of Arvin was small but thriving. Its people were hardy, practical, and known for their resourcefulness. Among them was a young human warrior named Kale. Kale was not a soldier by rank alone. He was clever, quick, and had an intuition for anticipating danger that many of his elders could not match. Even as a boy, he had shown skill in problem-solving and strategy that often left teachers and mentors stunned. Now at 24, he was considered one of the colony's finest warriors. On this morning, the sun had barely risen, and the wind carried the faint scent of burning minerals from the planet's crust. Kyle moved swiftly through the training grounds, his boots kicking up dust as he practiced. His movements were precise, each one a mix of speed and grace, honed by countless hours of discipline. "You're pushing yourself too hard again," said Lyra, his closest friend and fellow warrior. She had dark hair tied in a practical braid and eyes that missed nothing. "Even the best need rest." Kyle smiled but did not stop. "Rest comes after preparation," he said. "I won't be ready if something comes for us tomorrow." Lyra shook her head, partly amused and partly concerned. She had grown used to Kale's unrelenting drive. "If something does come, don't get yourself killed being a hero," she warned. Kyle paused, glancing toward the horizon where the sky met the jagged mountains. His instincts had always been sharp. Something felt different today, though. A subtle vibration in the air, a whisper of movement too distant to see. Humans were always cautious, especially on the outer worlds, and Kale had learned to trust those instincts more than anyone else. Far above Arvin, a scout ship from Xerath's empire moved silently through the atmosphere. Sleek, black, and deadly, it was designed for one purpose: observation. Its sensors scanned the colony below, noting the patterns of movement and communication among the humans. Inside the ship, the pilot reported, "The humans are unusual. Their coordination is unexpected. They react quickly and with precision. One individual, male, possibly a warrior, is particularly remarkable. He adapts to every scenario." "Interesting," a voice said from the command chair. It was the first officer speaking, but his words carried caution. "Do you think the legends are true? Could this be one of the human warriors?" The pilot shook his head slightly. "It is difficult to believe. Humans are supposed to be simple, fragile creatures. But this one, he is unlike anything I have ever observed." Back on the ground, Kale sensed a change. His instinct screamed before his eyes even saw the movement. Shadows flickered across the colony walls, too fast and calculated for mere animals. "They're here," Kyle whispered to Lyra, his voice calm but tense. "Aliens." Within moments, small teams of alien scouts landed silently, using advanced technology to remain almost invisible. But Kale had expected this. He motioned to Lyra and others. "Positions. Move to cover. Watch the exits." The humans acted with precision. Even without words, they formed a defensive pattern that made use of the terrain. Rocks, walls, and narrow passages became shields, and their small weapons were carefully aimed. The aliens, expecting an easy takeover, were met with something they could not anticipate: human strategy. Kale leaped forward, using the cover to approach the nearest alien scout. With a combination of agility and cunning, he disarmed it in seconds, leaving it stunned. Lyra and the others quickly neutralized two more, showing coordination that seemed almost instinctive. From above, the scout ship recorded everything. "This human, he is extraordinary," the pilot said. "I am sending data to the Queen." Queen Zirath studied the reports in her chamber. Holograms of Kale's movements flashed before her. She leaned back in her throne, a smile forming. "So the humans are not as weak as we believed," she murmured. Her advisors exchanged uneasy glances. "Your Majesty, if he is truly a warrior, we should prepare our forces. The humans may be more dangerous than we thought." Zirath waved her hand dismissively. "I will see him myself. Legends or not, I must know the truth. Prepare a fleet. I will visit the planet of Arvin. Let this human show me his strength." Kale, unaware of the Queen's attention, had already begun organizing the colony's defenses. The first wave of alien scouts had retreated and the humans took stock of their situation. "You are incredible," Lyra said, clasping his shoulder. "They had numbers, technology, and yet you handled them perfectly." Kel shook his head. "It is not me alone. We survived because we work together. We adapt, we learn, and we never give up. That is what humans do." The words carried weight. Humans had survived countless challenges, both on Earth and in distant colonies. Their strength did not come from sheer size or power, but from ingenuity, courage, and determination. Kale embodied that spirit, and today it had been proven. As night fell, the sky above Arvin shimmered with distant stars, and the humans looked up, unaware that their lives were about to change forever. The alien queen, intrigued by the unexpected strength of a species she had long dismissed, was already planning her arrival. Somewhere far away, in a chamber filled with cold light and silent authority, Queen Zirath leaned back and whispered to herself, "Let us see if the humans are as legendary as they say, and if this one warrior truly stands above them all." The desert sun had barely risen over Arvin when Kyle surveyed the horizon. The alien scouts had retreated the previous night, but he knew better than to believe that the danger was over. Aliens rarely retreated without reason. Something larger was coming. Lyra stood beside him, her eyes scanning the sky. "Kale, you don't think more are coming already?" she asked. Kale shook his head slowly, his expression calm but serious. "They will return. And this time it won't be just scouts. They will send soldiers. We need to be ready." The colony, though small, was prepared. Humans had survived on harsh planets for generations. Every building, every wall, every narrow passageway was designed with defense in mind. Kale moved quickly, assigning positions, giving instructions, and ensuring that every warrior knew their role. "Rally the outer sentries," he commanded. "Keep your eyes open. Watch for their movements. Don't engage unless they come within range." Even as he spoke, the ground trembled faintly. A low hum filled the air, growing louder with each passing moment. The humans looked up, shielding their eyes from the glare. Across the horizon, dark silhouettes began to descend from the sky. Kale's heart did not race. He did not panic, but his mind worked faster than ever, calculating possibilities, anticipating strategies, and planning contingencies. Humans did not need to be the strongest to survive. They needed to be smart, resourceful, and fearless. And Kale embodied all three qualities. The alien soldiers landed in formations that seemed flawless. Their armor glimmered in the sunlight, reflecting the harsh desert light, and their weapons radiated energy. To any untrained eye, it would have been terrifying, but Kale did not flinch. "Remember what we practiced," he whispered to Lyra and the others. "Use the terrain. Think ahead. Outsmart them." As the first soldiers moved forward, Kale led a small team on the flank. They crept through narrow canyons, using rocks and shadows as cover. Kale noticed that the aliens moved in predictable patterns. Their strength was unmatched, but their thinking was rigid. He signaled to Lyra. "Now." With precision, the humans sprung their trap. A series of explosive charges hidden under the sand sent a shockwave through the alien formation, disorienting them. Energy beams scattered harmlessly as Kale and his team moved swiftly, striking at the soldiers' weak points. It was not strength that won the day. It was strategy. Every move Kale made exploited the aliens' assumptions. Every decision he took turned their superior technology against them. One alien soldier, larger and more heavily armored than the rest, noticed Kale's team and charged. Its movements were fast, almost too fast to track. Kyle held his ground, timing his steps perfectly. As the alien lunged, Kale dodged, rolled, and delivered a precise strike to a joint in the armor, disabling the creature. Lyra and the others cheered quietly. "Incredible," she whispered. He's unlike anything I've ever seen." Kyle did not pause. There was no time to celebrate. The alien squad was regrouping, and they would learn quickly from their mistakes. But Kale had already planned for this. His team fell back to secondary positions, leading the aliens into a maze of tunnels, trenches, and natural rock formations that Kale had studied for weeks. The battle was fierce. The aliens struck with precision, but humans were faster in thought and movement. Kale coordinated every maneuver, predicting the enemy's actions and countering them before they could react. Every victory, every disarmed soldier, every clever trick added to the legend of the human warrior. From high above, the alien scout ship observed Kale in action. The pilot, unable to hide awe, spoke into the communicator. "They are remarkable. That human, he is extraordinary. His tactics, his timing, his awareness. It is unlike anything recorded. I'm sending full data to the Queen immediately." The ship's sensors showed Kyle's every move. Every feint, every trap, every counterattack was analyzed in real time. The human's mind worked faster than the ship's computers could calculate, and yet the Queen remained skeptical. "A single warrior," she said, her voice cold but curious. "If he is as capable as they claim, I must see him myself." As the sun climbed higher, Kale noticed the aliens shifting their strategy. They began using drones, small hovering machines armed with energy weapons designed to flush humans from cover. Kale studied their movements and smiled. "Predictable," he murmured. "They think speed and numbers win, but they forget. Humans adapt." He signaled to his team. "Fall back to the canyon's mouth. Use the rocks. Lure them closer." The drones pursued, moving quickly, but Kale had set traps along their path. Energy nets hidden behind boulders triggered, entangling the drones. Some crashed into each other, while others were knocked off course by concealed magnetic fields. Kale moved with precision, taking down drones and alien soldiers alike one by one. The humans fought not out of hatred, but out of necessity. Their courage was not reckless, it was deliberate, calculated, and unwavering. Every move showed the aliens that humans were not ordinary prey. They were intelligent, resourceful, and fearless. As the battle continued, Kale spotted a larger threat approaching, a transport carrying alien reinforcements. It moved too fast for humans to intercept directly. But Kale had an idea. He gestured to Lyra. "We don't fight them head-on. We force them into the canyon trap. Once they enter, we control the field." The team moved quickly, placing boulders and obstacles in strategic positions. As the transport entered the canyon, the rocks shifted with Kale's signal, blocking exits and funneling the aliens into a narrow corridor. Energy blasts ricocheted harmlessly off the rocks while humans attacked from hidden positions. The aliens had superior firepower, but Kale's use of terrain and timing neutralized their advantage. The battle was a test of brains against brawn, of courage against fear. Kale proved humans could win not through sheer strength, but through intelligence, unity, and unwavering determination. By the afternoon, the alien forces had retreated, suffering losses they had not expected. Kale's team regrouped, exhausted but triumphant. Humans cheered quietly, proud of what they had accomplished. Kale wiped sweat from his brow and looked up at the sky. "This is only the beginning," he said. "They will return. But now they know humans do not surrender. We adapt, we fight, and we survive." Lyra smiled, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You have become a legend today, Kale. Not just to us, but to them too." Kale shook his head. "A legend? No. A warrior only becomes a legend when he stands for more than himself. Today we survived because we worked together. That is what makes a human strong." Far above in her throne room, Queen Zirath studied the reports coming in from her scouts. Holograms of Kale's tactics, his attacks, and his team's coordination glowed in the dim light. She leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "So," she murmured to herself, "the humans are not myths. One of them stands before us, showing courage, skill, and strategy beyond imagination." "This is unexpected." Her advisors shifted uneasily. "Your Majesty, they fought back with remarkable efficiency. Should we prepare the fleet?" Zirath's eyes glimmered with a mix of curiosity and intrigue. "I will see this warrior myself," she said. "If he is as extraordinary as they claim, I must witness it firsthand. Prepare my ship. I will descend upon Arvin. Let him show me what it means to be human." As night fell over Arvin, Kale walked among the people of his colony, ensuring they were safe and accounted for. The air was thick with dust, the sky lit with distant stars, but Kale felt no fear. He knew something greater was coming. Something that would test not only his skill but his courage and the strength of all humans. The stories of the human warrior were no longer legends, they were becoming real. And Kale, with his sharp mind, unyielding heart, and unwavering determination, was ready to face the greatest challenge the galaxy had ever seen. The alien queen was coming. And when she arrived, Kale would prove that humans were not only real, they were unstoppable. The desert sky was painted in shades of crimson and gold, as the colony of Arvin braced for an arrival unlike any they had ever witnessed. The wind carried a strange metallic hum that grew louder with every heartbeat. Kale stood on a ridge overlooking the colony, his eyes scanning the horizon. "They're coming," Lyra said quietly, standing beside him. Her voice carried no fear, only steady determination. The queen herself. Kale's jaw tightened. His instincts had never failed him, and now they screamed a warning unlike any other. The humans of Arvin were brave, but nothing in their experience had prepared them for the alien queen herself, a being who commanded fleets, armies, and planets. Kale turned to his team. "Positions. Stick to the plan. Remember, we don't fight blindly. We think, we adapt. We survive." Every member of the colony nodded, trusting Kale's leadership. His reputation had grown after the previous skirmish with the scouts. Now, they believed him to be more than a warrior. They saw him as a symbol of human resilience. Far above, the alien queen's ship descended like a shadow, enormous and gleaming. It sliced through the sky silently, dwarfing every building below. Her arrival was precise, calculated, and terrifying. From the viewport, Xerath watched the terrain with careful interest. "Prepare the guards," she commanded, her voice cold yet curious. "I will see this human warrior myself. Bring him to me, alive if possible. I wish to study him." Her elite soldiers, clad in black reflective armor, lined the ground near the colony. Their weapons glowed with energy, a reminder of the Empire's power. But Kale did not flinch. "They are many," he said to Lyra. "But numbers do not win battles alone. We have the advantage of thinking differently. We are unpredictable." The humans moved as one, blending into the natural terrain. Rocks, canyons, and narrow paths became weapons in their hands. Kale studied the alien soldiers carefully. Every movement they made, every formation they held followed a predictable rhythm. And rhythm, Kale knew, could be broken. The first alien patrol stepped forward, scanning for movement. Kale signaled, and his team launched their attack, not with raw force but with traps, ambushes, and misdirection. Rocks fell, energy nets deployed, and the terrain itself became a weapon. The elite soldiers were stunned. They had faced resistance before, but never this precise, this intelligent. Each human move was calculated, exploiting weaknesses in their armor, their strategy, their assumptions. Kyle moved with fluid grace, almost as if he had anticipated every strike before it came. He disarmed one soldier, using his momentum to knock another into a shallow trench. Lyra and others supported him, creating a perfect blend of teamwork and ingenuity that was almost artistic in execution. From above, Queen Xerath watched through the ship's sensors. She leaned forward, intrigued. "Interesting," she murmured. "So the human warrior is more than legend. He is cunning, fearless, and strategic. Perhaps he is worth observing firsthand." Kale knew the alien soldiers were more than just scouts. They were highly trained elite guards. Their leader, a towering figure with armor that shimmered like black glass, moved forward to confront Kale directly. "You cannot outsmart us forever," the alien said, voice amplified through his helmet. "Surrender, human. You will be spared if you yield." Kale's response was calm, almost serene. "I do not yield," he said. "Humans do not surrender. We adapt, we fight, and we survive." With that, he charged, not recklessly, but with strategy. Every step, every move was designed to confuse and divide the enemy. He feinted left, then right, leading the elite guard into a narrow passageway where Kale had prepared multiple traps. The alien stumbled, momentarily caught off guard. Kale used the opening to disable his weapon and push him into a containment pit. One by one, the elite soldiers fell to the humans' clever tactics. Their superior strength rendered ineffective against Kale's intelligence and precision. As the battle continued, Kale noticed shadows above. Drones, faster and deadlier than the scouts from before, descended toward the humans. Kale raised his hand, signaling the team. Focus on control, not destruction, he instructed. Use their speed against them. He directed small teams to trigger magnetic fields, energy disruptors, and concealed obstacles. Drones collided with each other or fell helplessly into pits, neutralized without unnecessary risk. Humans were not reckless, they fought smart. They conserved their strength and outmaneuvered the enemy at every turn, Queen Zirath observed silently. Each human move impressed her more. She had faced countless species, but none had combined intelligence, courage, and ingenuity so seamlessly. One human in particular stood out. Kale. Finally, Zirath herself descended from the ship. Her presence was imposing, her figure tall and elegant, clad in armor that shimmered with alien technology. Her eyes glowed faintly, filled with curiosity and a hint of respect. Kale stepped forward, unflinching. The humans behind him mirrored his courage, ready to defend their home. "You are the human they call Kale," Zirath said, her voice like steel. "I have seen your tactics, your courage. You survive where others fall. Tell me, why do you resist us?" Kale did not hesitate. "Because we are human. We fight for our families, our homes, and our freedom. We do not give up. And we do not surrender to fear." The Queen studied him, her expression unreadable. "Most species crumble under pressure. Yet you, a single human among many, lead with strategy, courage, and resilience." Fascinating. Kyle met her gaze without fear. "If you wish to conquer, you will not succeed through power alone. Humans are more than strength. We are resourceful, we adapt, and we will always fight." The alien soldiers, seeing Kale stand so calmly before their queen, felt a mixture of awe and unease. They had faced many worlds, many species, but humans were unpredictable. Kale embodied a spirit they could not measure, a determination they could not break. Zirath, intrigued, decided to test him further. "Very well," she said. "Show me your skill, human. Defeat my guards without fear or hesitation. Prove that you are worthy of your legend." Kyle nodded. He knew this was more than a test of strength. It was a test of human ingenuity, courage, and heart. He directed his team into positions, using shadows, terrain, and timing to create opportunities. The battle unfolded like a complex dance. Every feint, every counterattack, every maneuver was designed to challenge the Queen's forces while minimizing risk to the humans. Kale anticipated every strike, predicting enemy moves before they happened. Hours passed and the sun dipped lower in the sky. The Queen's guards lay disarmed, retreating in controlled withdrawal. Kale and his team emerged victorious but unyielding. Humans had not only survived, they had outsmarted one of the most advanced forces in the galaxy. Queen Zirath descended fully to the ground, her expression now filled with a mixture of respect and curiosity. "You are extraordinary," she admitted. "Few beings could stand before my guards in triumph. You, humans, are unlike any species I have encountered." Kale bowed slightly, not out of fear but as a gesture of respect. "We fight for our people. That is what makes us strong. It is not just the warrior, it is the spirit of all humans together." The Queen studied him for a long moment. Then she nodded. "Perhaps I underestimated your species. Perhaps myths are closer to truth than I imagined." As night fell over Arvin, Kyle and his team gathered with the colony. The humans celebrated quietly, proud of their resilience and courage. "This is just the beginning," Kyle said, looking at the stars. "The Queen knows we are real. She has seen what humans can do, and now we prepare for what comes next." Lyra smiled, her eyes reflecting pride. "You truly are a warrior, Kale. Not just a fighter, but a symbol. A human warrior." Kyle looked out over the colony, the stars above and the vast galaxy beyond. "Legends begin with one step," he said softly. "And we are only getting started." Somewhere far away, Zirath returned to her ship. The Queen, for the first time in centuries, felt a flicker of admiration for a species she had long dismissed. Humans were more than myths, and Kale, the human who stood before her, was only the beginning of what they could achieve. The colony of Arvin lay quiet under the glow of a fading sunset. The humans had won their first encounter with the alien Queen's forces, but Kale knew this victory was only the beginning. The Queen had witnessed his courage and intellect, yet her fleet still loomed beyond the horizon. Every human in the colony felt the tension of the unknown, but none wavered. Kale gathered his team on a ridge overlooking the settlement. We've proven ourselves today, he said, his voice steady. But we cannot underestimate her. She has power unlike anything we've faced. We must remain vigilant, plan ahead, and use every advantage we have. Lyra nodded, eyes scanning the sky. We've already inspired hope in our people. Even if the Queen returns with more forces, we know what humans are capable of. Kale smiled faintly. Not just humans. All of us together. That is our strength. Far above Arvin, aboard the massive ship of Queen Zirath, the atmosphere was filled with quiet contemplation. The Queen, a being feared across galaxies, paced slowly through her observation deck. The events she had witnessed were unlike anything she had ever seen. One human had faced her elite soldiers, outsmarted them, and protected an entire colony. Most species crumble under pressure, she murmured to her advisor. They surrender, they break, they beg. Yet this one, he led his people, turned the battlefield to his favor, and survived. Her advisor hesitated. Your Majesty, perhaps we underestimated humans. They are adaptive, intelligent, and courageous. It is possible. They are stronger than legend suggests. Zirath's eyes glimmered with intrigue. Stronger? No, humans are different. Their strength lies not in their power, but in their spirit, in their courage, in their will to survive. For the first time she felt something unusual, respect. Not fear, not anger, but genuine admiration. The following days were spent preparing for potential encounters. Kale knew the Queen could return at any moment, bringing more soldiers or even her personal forces. Yet, even as humans trained and fortified the colony, Kale focused on more than just defense. He taught his team strategy, observation, and the importance of unity. They must see us as more than fighters, he told them. They must see that we think, adapt, and overcome. That is what humans do. That is why we survive. Even young trainees, inspired by Kale's courage and calm, learned quickly. They set traps, created clever decoys, and practiced maneuvers that used the terrain to their advantage. Every human became part of a greater plan. Every action reflected the ingenuity and courage that had allowed humanity to survive across countless worlds. Meanwhile, Queen Zirath observed from afar, sending scouts that did not attack, but studied. Every move of Kale and his people was recorded. She watched as humans adapted to challenges, often improvising in ways that her empire's algorithms could not predict. They learn faster than I expected, Zirath said. They anticipate, they adapt. They even improve upon what they see. Fascinating. Perhaps the legends were true after all. Her advisors whispered among themselves, Your Majesty, the humans are showing signs of intelligence far beyond what we considered normal. If we continue this conflict, it may be costly. Zirath considered their words but remained silent. She did not fear Kale or his colony. Instead, she felt a new curiosity growing within her, an understanding that humans were not merely prey, not merely subjects to be conquered. They were unique, resilient, and worthy of attention. One evening, Kyle and Lyra climbed a ridge to observe the horizon. The sky was streaked with purples and oranges as the twin moons rose. Kale's mind, however, was not on the beauty above, but on what lay beyond. They're studying us, Lyra said quietly, glancing at the dark shapes of alien ships in orbit. I can feel it. They're learning from everything we do. Kyle nodded. Then let them learn. Let them see what humans are capable of. But we must stay vigilant. Curiosity alone can be dangerous if it turns to action. They watched in silence, knowing that the Queen herself was likely observing, evaluating, and perhaps questioning everything she had ever believed about humans. Days later, a small delegation arrived from the Queen's fleet. They were not soldiers but envoys, observers sent to interact with the colony. Their arrival caused whispers among the humans. Many were nervous, fearing deception or attack, yet Kale stepped forward calmly. We do not fear observation, he said. We are humans. We adapt, we learn, and we survive. You may study us, but you will not find weakness. You will find courage, ingenuity, and unity. The alien envoys watched carefully, impressed by Kale's confidence and composure. They had been trained to intimidate, to command respect through fear. Yet here stood a human who required no weapons to inspire awe. They reported back to Queen Zirath. The human leads his people with skill and courage beyond expectation. They are fearless, resourceful, and united. We have never encountered a species like this. The Queen's eyes softened, her expression unreadable. Yes, she whispered. They are remarkable. Not merely as fighters, but as beings. There's more to humanity than I imagined. Back on the ground, Kale continued to teach and train, but he also focused on diplomacy. Humans had survived for generations not only because of strength, but because of cooperation, understanding, and clever negotiation. Kale understood that showing the Queen the humanity behind the warrior could change the course of events. He invited the alien envoys to witness their daily lives, not just battles and drills, but farming, problem-solving, and community work. The humans worked together to repair buildings, construct water systems, and maintain the colony. Every human acted with purpose and intelligence. The envoys reported everything to the Queen. "They do not live only to fight," one said. "They live to protect each other, to solve problems, to create. Their strength is not only in combat but in thought, heart, and spirit." Zirath's admiration grew. She realized that the humans' power was not a single ability or weapon, but an entire culture of courage, ingenuity, and resilience. She began to see that conquest might not be the answer. Perhaps there was more to learn from humanity than to dominate them. One night, Kale stood alone on the ridge, looking at the stars. Lyra joined him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "They are watching," she said softly. "I can feel it. And I think they are starting to respect us." Kale nodded. "Yes, but respect is not enough. They must understand what it means to be human. Our courage, our ingenuity, our unity, these are our greatest weapons. If they see them, perhaps the galaxy will see humans differently. Perhaps myths can become reality." Below them, the colony slept, unaware of the profound effect they had on an empire. Above them, Queen Zirath studied the humans with new eyes, questioning everything she had believed about life, strength, and survival. The turning point came when a minor crisis struck the colony. A sudden sandstorm, stronger than any predicted, threatened to destroy buildings and resources. The humans worked together, improvising with quick thinking and teamwork. They created barriers, redirected water, and strengthened walls. Kale led without hesitation, coordinating every effort with calm precision. The alien envoys observed in awe. Their response, "It is incredible," one whispered. "Not only do they fight, but they survive disaster with intelligence and courage." When the Queen received the reports, she could not help but marvel. "They are not warriors alone," she said. "They are creators, thinkers, and protectors. They embody qualities that my empire has never fully understood. Perhaps it is time to rethink everything about humans." By the end of the week, the humans had fully recovered from the storm. The aliens had not attacked. They had only observed, learning the full extent of human capability. Kale had shown that bravery was more than strength, strategy more than tactics, and humanity more than mere survival. The Queen, sitting alone in her chamber, reflected on what she had seen. "These humans, they are extraordinary. One human warrior led his people through challenges that would have destroyed many others. And still, they endure, they adapt, and they inspire. Perhaps humans are not just myths. Perhaps they are the future of strength in the galaxy." Kyle looked at the horizon, knowing that the Queen's respect was a beginning, not the end. Humans had shown courage, ingenuity, and unity. They had survived attacks, adapted to challenges, and inspired admiration even in their enemies. "They will never underestimate humans again," he said softly, "and they should never forget what it means to face one." Lyra smiled. "You have changed the way they see us, Kyle. Not just the Queen, but all of them. Humanity is stronger because of you." Kyle shook his head. "No. Humanity is strong because we fight together. We think together. We survive together. One warrior can make a difference, but a united people can change the galaxy." Above, in the silent expanse of space, Queen Zirath made her decision. Humans were no longer myths, no longer a curiosity. They were a force worthy of admiration, capable of inspiring awe and reshaping the galaxy's perception of strength. And Kale, the human who had faced her soldiers, disasters, and impossible odds, had become the symbol of what humans could achieve when courage, intelligence, and heart came together. The galaxy would never forget the human warrior. The first light of dawn broke across Arvin, painting the desert in soft gold. Kale stood on the ridge overlooking the colony, his gaze fixed on the horizon. The battles were over, at least for now, and a new chapter had begun. The humans had proven themselves to the alien Queen. Their courage, unity, and intelligence had earned her respect, and now Recognition across the galaxy seemed within reach. Lyra approached, her expression reflecting both pride and relief. Kale, they will never see humans the same way again. The Queen has witnessed what we are capable of. We've changed everything. Kale nodded, keeping his eyes on the distant stars. Not just the Queen, he said softly. The galaxy will know. Humans are more than myths. We are real and we are capable of anything when we stand together. Far above, Queen Zereth's ship hovered silently. The Queen had spent weeks observing and learning from Kale and his colony. Every strategy, every act of courage, every moment of unity had impressed her. She no longer viewed humans as weak or insignificant. They were a force in their own right, resilient, intelligent, and resourceful. She called a meeting with her advisors. The humans have shown us that strength is more than power. It is courage, ingenuity, and the ability to inspire others. This species is exceptional. We must recognize them, not destroy them. Her advisors, though hesitant, could not argue. Even they had observed the humans' feats and the strategic brilliance of Kale. Slowly, they began to understand that this species was different. Back on Arvin, Kale continued his work with the colony. He knew that survival and growth depended not only on fighting but also on building, teaching, and inspiring. Humans had faced countless challenges across galaxies, and this was no different. Kale organized workshops, training sessions, and drills that emphasized strategy, cooperation, and problem-solving. Young humans learned to observe, adapt, and work together. Even older colonists embraced new techniques inspired by the human warrior's example. The strength of a warrior is not just in his skill, Kale told his team. It is in how he inspires those around him. Every human here can be a warrior in their own way. Courage is contagious. Reports from Queen Zereth's fleet began to reach distant worlds. They spoke not of conquest but of admiration. Stories of Kale and the humans of Arvin spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Other species began to see humans not as prey but as equals, creatures of ingenuity, courage, and determination. On some worlds, humans were still unknown. On others, they became symbols of hope and resilience. Kale's actions, though humble in his eyes, inspired countless beings across the stars. The myth of the human warrior was no longer just a story, it was a reality. Kale stood once more on the ridge at night, gazing at the stars. The desert wind carried whispers of the past battles, of victories and near losses, of courage and ingenuity. He thought of Lyra, the team, and every human who had fought, adapted, and survived. They will remember us, Lyra said quietly, joining him. The galaxy will remember what it means to face humans. Kyle smiled. It is not about being remembered for one person. It is about being remembered for what we represent. Humanity is more than a species, it is a spirit. And that spirit will endure. In the weeks that followed, Queen Zereth made a bold decision. She sent envoys to Arvin, not as conquerors but as emissaries of respect. They came to negotiate alliances, learn from humans, and even offer technology to strengthen the colony. For the first time, humans were seen as equals in the galactic community. Kale welcomed them with the same calm and courage that had defined his actions from the beginning. We fight to protect our people, he said. We build to survive, and we live to learn. If you wish to learn from us, you are welcome. But remember this, humans are not to be underestimated. The Queen's envoys nodded, impressed by both his humility and confidence. Kale's reputation had grown, but he remained grounded in the truth of humanity's strength, courage, ingenuity, and unity. Stories of Kale's bravery spread to distant systems. Artists painted murals, storytellers shared tales, and historians recorded every detail of his campaigns. Yet Kale himself did not seek fame. His goal had always been the survival and growth of his people, not personal glory. One day he walked through the colony, observing children practicing with makeshift weapons and adults coordinating new construction projects. Every person moved with purpose, every act reflected determination and intelligence. Kale felt a deep pride, not for himself but for humanity. They are ready, he thought. They are strong, not because of me, but because they have always been strong. I merely showed them what they could achieve together. Queen Zereth, observing from afar, reflected on the humans she had once dismissed as myths. One warrior had changed everything, not through raw power but through courage, strategy, and the spirit of unity. She realized that humans could inspire, lead, and influence civilizations across the galaxy. Perhaps we underestimated them. she admitted quietly. Perhaps we must learn from them, not conquer them. One human warrior has shown us the potential of an entire species. That is a power greater than armies or fleets. Her decision was final. Humans would no longer be ignored or underestimated. They had earned respect across galaxies, and Kale had become a symbol of that recognition. The final night over Arvin was calm. Kale stood once more on the ridge, Lyra at his side, the stars above reflecting the endless possibilities of the galaxy. The battles were over, but the story of humanity had only begun. They will never forget this, Lyra said softly. No, Kyle agreed. Not because of me, but because of all of us. Humans are not myths. We are real. And we are capable of incredible things when we stand together. Somewhere far away, Queen Zereth looked at the distant planet and thought the same. One human warrior had shown her the power of courage, ingenuity, and spirit. One human warrior had reminded her, and the galaxy, of what it truly meant to be extraordinary. Kale's legacy would endure, not as a story of war alone, but as a story of hope, courage, and inspiration. The galaxy had seen what humans could achieve when they fought not just for survival, but for each other. The stars above Arvin shone brighter than ever, carrying whispers of a human legend across the cosmos. A legend that would never be forgotten.